Hello dear fans, friends and subscribers. Welcome to the Sunday edition of the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram today. And on this Sunday edition of Cricket Happening Show, I was telling you yesterday on my late Cricket Happening Show that we are having exciting two fourth-day test matches which are coming up. Unfortunately, I would have to say that the Sri Lanka versus West Indies, the 4 days play at the Galle Cricket Stadium was abandoned without a ball being bowled. In the sense the play was called off because of persistent rain in Galle in Sri Lanka. And so there's still one more day to go. And for West Indies and Sri Lanka, that's going to be a real challenge. For Sri Lanka, they have to remove all the 9 wickets. So now West Indies definitely have a sliver of hope here, because what has happened is we are coming into the final day tomorrow, and well, one is that West Indies can play out the whole day and draw the match and probably make it 1-0 in the series. As you know, this is the final test match of the series, or West Indies could actually win it and level the series. And for Sri Lanka, well, they could pick up all the 9 wickets of the West Indians and ball them out tomorrow. So it's going to be an interesting spectacle, no doubt about it, at the Galle Cricket Stadium, and hope that the rain gods really are kind and they stay away. Well, the other match that was pretty interesting was England versus Pakistan. As you know, Pakistan were on the ascendant, no doubt about it, and they continued to do so. And as expected, the Pakistani captain Misbah-ul Haq declared the innings closed at 354 for 6. He himself was now out for 87 early in the piece today, but Yunus Khan registered his 31st Test century, and also Yunus Khan now, of his 31 centuries, 10 centuries have come in the United Arab Emirates. So a happy hunting ground for Yunus Khan, definitely in the evening of his career. But let me tell you, even in the evening of his career, Yunus Khan is absolutely superb. Now, and then Asad Shafiq made 79, and England were given a target of 491 runs to win the match, and they finished the 4th day at a total of 130 for 3. Joe Root was their hope now, and for me, with the ball really turning and Pakistan bowling well, it's going to be mighty difficult for England to get out of jail here. Well, probably I could be prompted to say that it could be Pakistan's game tomorrow. But, well, we never know. Cricket can spring a lot of surprises, and one of the surprises might be tomorrow. You never know. But all in all, that should be another interesting day coming up as far as the final day's play is concerned in this 3-match series. So England would like to level the series. Pakistan would like to, not level the series. Pakistan would like to win the match, or England would also like to win the match. So that is going to be interesting. I'll come back to that. But as I told you, there was also one more match which was going on, but with a difference. It was the final one-day international between India and South Africa. Till now, we have seen both the teams have fought every inch, and they were locking horns at 2-2 at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai in the final one-day international. And I can really tell you, the Mumbai Wankhede Stadium would have been pretty disappointed, as the South African batsmen absolutely caned the Indian bowling, a pitch which was devoid of turn and devoid of bounce, and South Africa ran the highest total ever registered by a visiting team in India, and they put 438 for 4, and that was always going to be difficult for India. And South Africa won by a mighty margin of 214 runs, with India all out for 224. And for South Africa, there were 3 centurions. Quinton de Kock collecting his first century of this one-day international series, making 109 with 70 of 87 deliveries, with 17 fours and 1 6. And Quinton de Kock always loves the Indians. As far as Indian bowling is concerned, Quinton de Kock would just like to eat it, because this is his 5th one-day international century against India. and du Plessis scored a marvelous 133 of 115 deliveries with 9 fours and 6 sixes, and A.B. de Villiers totally humiliated the Indian bowling by cracking 119 runs of just 61 deliveries with 3 fours and 11 blistering sixes, and India all out for 224, South Africa winning by a huge margin of 214 runs to register their first ever bilateral ODI series win over India in India. And congratulations to South Africa to reducing the match to nothing and dominating proceedings right from the word go. Well, so first, as I said, the West Indies-Sri Lanka match was washed out. So I'm going to start off with the match between England and Pakistan. As far as the England and Pakistan match goes today, England resumed at their overnight score where they were sitting, Pakistan resumed at their overnight score where they were sitting absolutely pretty with Yunis Khan and Misbah-ul-Haq in charge of proceedings. England got an early reward today as Misbah-ul-Haq was caught by Cook in the slips of the bowling of James Anderson on his overnight score of 87 with 8 fours and 4 sixes, and then the onus fell on Yunis Khan. Yunis Khan got an able partner in the form of Asad Shafiq, who has definitely, according to me, has taken that post of Umar Akmal. Umar Akmal now has to really fight for his place because Asad Shafiq has been scoring well, he has been scoring consistently, and this partnership took the score to 337, which was 113 runs partnership between them. Yunis Khan continued to play in the way he can, contributing 118 with 13 boundaries, his 31st Test century, and also registered his 10th century in the United Arab Emirates. Asad Shafiq contributed 79 with 8 boundaries, and that was the time the declaration came with Misbah-ul-Haq declaring the innings closed for Pakistanis at 354 for 6. Sarfraz Ahmed was not out on 3, and the bowling, nothing to really talk about, barring Anderson and Moeen Ali capturing some wickets, and so that really set England a target of 491 runs to win the second Test match. The start was absolutely dismal. The first to go was Moeen Ali, who has been struggling in this series. Imran Khan was the man who picked up his wicket when he got Moeen Ali caught by Yunis Khan for 1, and Imran Khan was very aggressive at that stage. In fact, he was reprimanded by the umpire because he was really he was really worked up, and he was really saying something. So Moeen Ali was gone for 1, and then Alistair Cook, who had a real problem. He had probably some cramps, he was really struggling, and Yasir Shah spotted that and picked up his wicket when Alistair Cook, trying to sweep a delivery from Yasir Shah, went into the hands of Wahab Riaz for 10, and England were in trouble at that stage at 19 for 2. And then we had the 2 rocks in the middle. One is the experienced rock of Ian Bell, and the other person was the young rock Joe Root. Both of them started chiseling a partnership. They had to really do the hard yards against the Pakistani bowling. They did that, and the score slowly but steadily started moving on, and they put a 102-run partnership for the 3rd wicket with Ian Bell and Joe Root really waiting for any loose opportunity to score off, and that enabled England to get to a score at that stage of something of a stability to proceedings, as 102 runs were added for that 3rd wicket partnership. And that was the time Zulfikar Babar, who had not really extracted much of a turn on this pitch, the pitch was definitely turning. Yasir Shah was getting the ball to really turn out of the rough. Ian Bell was dismissed as he was, and just before the close of play, they lost the most important wicket of Ian Bell, as Ian Bell was caught by Yunus Khan off the bowling of Zulfikar Babar for 46 with 4 boundaries, which made the score 121 for 3. And then finally it was left to Joe Root with an unbeaten 59 with 5 fours, and Jonathan Bairstow not on 6 with 1 4 to see off the day for England, as England finished on 130 for 3, chasing a target of 491 runs for victory. There is still a stiff task in front of them. They need to score 361 runs on the final day here in Dubai to actually win the match. They have 7 wickets intact, and looking at the proceedings, well, Ben Stokes is still to come. There is Josh Buttler. There's still some batting to come, no doubt about it. They have a lot of all-rounders in the form of Adil Rashid and Stuart Broad, so batting is still there. But I thought Ian Bell getting out today has really put a damper on this chances of England. Probably if Ian Bell was there to survive for the day, then probably I would have been prompted to think that England still had a chance with experienced rock of Ian Bell. But since Ian Bell has gone, now the onus would be on Joe Root, but he also has to get good support from all the players like Bairstow, Stokes, Buttler, Rashid and Broad, and that is the only way that England. But all in all, it should be an interesting day's play coming up. Still a long way to go as far as England are concerned. They need 361 runs tomorrow to win the match against Pakistan, the second test match here in Dubai. And it's not going to be easy. The ball is turning out of the rough. There are a lot of footmarks there which has been created, and final day we all know how the pitch can behave. Probably my feeling is that the pitch might deteriorate tomorrow. It might deteriorate more according to me. And as far as the bowling is concerned, Imran Khan 6 overs 2 maidens 1 for 16. Wahab Riaz 8 overs 1 maiden none for 15, bowled well. Yasir Shah bowling superbly, 16 overs 5 maidens 37 runs on 1 wicket. Malik 6 overs for 32. Zulfikar Babar getting a solitary wicket, 18-7, 24-1. So that is as far as England and Pakistan are concerned. Now the final match that I'm going to talk about, the one-day international, the final one-day international, which was played between India and South Africa. This was played at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai, and I have to say it was totally dominated by South Africa. The toss was actually won by South Africa. South Africa won the toss without any hesitation. They decided to bat on this pitch in Wankhede Stadium, which was totally devoid of any turn or bounce, as one could say, and South Africa started off not in a good manner. In fact, Hashim Amla was probably, this series has been something that Hashim Amla would like to forget, because he has not got a single 50 under his belt, and Hashim Amla cracked 5 boundaries in his knock of 23 of 13 deliveries before Mohit Sharma claimed this wicket when he had him caught by Dhoni for 23. But once Amla was gone, Quinton de Kock was there, and especially the South African players realized that there is nothing in this pitch, and it is better to really go after the bowlers. Quinton de Kock started dealing absolutely in boundaries. He had nothing else but boundaries in his knock. In fact, 68% of his runs were scored simply in boundaries, and at the other end, du Plessis came in, took his time, and after that du Plessis was simply ballistic. He went on, every bowler suffered. Let's have a look at the Indian bowling which came under the hammer of the South African batsmen. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, 10 overs, went for 106 runs, picked up 1 wicket. Mohit Sharma, 7 overs, carted for 84 runs with 1 wicket to show besides his name. Harbhajan Singh was the only one who looked, when the runs were really cascading from the blade of the South African batsman, it was Mahendra Singh Dhoni getting in Harbhajan Singh, but Harbhajan Singh, well, the 1 over we saw that Harbhajan Singh had a bit of a control, but after that he also started disappearing. 10 overs no more than 1 for 70 as far as Harbhajan Singh is concerned. Akshar Patel, 8 overs cost him 65 runs without a wicket. Amit Mishra, 10 overs, blown away for 78 runs with no wicket. Suresh Raina bowled 3 overs, 1 for 19. Virat Kohli 2 overs, none for 14. So as I said, the second wicket partnership yielded 154 runs. It was simply ballistic, I would say. Du Plessis was in his element. He was really caning the Indian bowlers. At the other end, Quinton de Kock was scoring boundaries, and there was nothing that could stop this run flow, as 154 runs were added for the second wicket. And then finally Quinton de Kock, collecting his first century of this one-day international series, departed for 109. Suresh Raina was brought in, and he was the one who picked up the wicket of Quinton de Kock, caught by Kohli not before making 109 of 87 deliveries with 17 fours and 1 six. That made it 187 for 2 in the 27th over. In walked in A.B. de Villiers. Du Plessis was firing on all cylinders. A.B. de Villiers came in. He really cashed in on the situation that South Africa had, and he was simply, what to say, I mean, we all know A.B. de Villiers is such a player. He would maneuver his strokes in whatever way he wants, and one has to really call him the 360 degrees player, because he can play to any part of the field. Any ball which is bowled either on the off stump, outside the off stump, on the middle stump, on the leg stump, outside the leg stump, it could disappear. He could maneuver it, he could turn it around, and that's what he precisely did. And this partnership was even more severe, as South Africa, from a score of 187 for 2 in the 27th over, with an onslaught led by A.B. de Villiers and Du Plessis, went on to almost the 400 mark, as the score went to 398 in the 47th over. So that would tell you that it was almost 211 runs added for the third wicket, and that was added in almost 20 overs. In 20 overs, 200 runs were added by Du Plessis and A.B. de Villiers, and then finally it was Bhuvaneshwar Kumar who picked up the wicket of A.B. de Villiers, as he had him caught by Dhoni after making 119 runs. As I said, he's a 360 degrees player. He can put the ball anywhere he wishes. 119 runs of just 61 deliveries with 3 fours and 11 spanking sixes on this pitch. 398 for 3, and then Du Plessis retired hurt for 133 with cramps of 115 deliveries with 9 fours and 6 sixes, and then David Miller towards the end not out on 22 of 12 deliveries, 3 fours. Berhadin was out for 16, Elgar not out 5, and South Africa finishing on the highest ever score in a one-day international, scored by an opposition team in India, of 438 runs. What a stupendous score South Africa raised here, 438 for 4 of their 50 overs. Now, as far as India were concerned, it's always going to be difficult. Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan started the Indian reply, and well, Shikhar Dhawan got into some good form. Rohit Sharma, after contributing 16, trying to force the pace, was caught by Imran Tahir of the bowling habit for 16 with 3 boundaries. Dhawan got into some good form. Virat Kohli came in, and Virat Kohli announced his intentions pretty well by hooking Kagiso Rabada for a 6. But Kagiso Rabada thought Virat Kohli played a very rash shot, because Kagiso Rabada sensed that Kohli is going for the kill. In fact, Rabada bowled a wideish delivery outside the off stump, forced Virat Kohli to have a flail at it, and he flailed at it for sure. And the resultant catch was taken brilliantly by Quinton de Kock behind the sticks, as he actually, the ball is absolutely flying, and it was flying past the first slip where Hashim Amla was standing, but it was a brilliant catch by Quinton de Kock, the wicketkeeper, as he took the ball at full length. In a sense, he struck his right hand, and the ball was flying almost over Hashim Amla's head. And what a brilliant catch taken by Quinton de Kock to get rid of a very big wicket there of Virat Kohli. Caught de Kock, bowled Rabada 7 of 6 balls with 1-6. So he was gone, and India were 44 for 2. And when Virat Kohli left, one knew that this task is going to be very, very onerous. Shikhar Dhawan really got into some good form by playing some good strokes. Rahane came in and he was improvising beautifully. In fact, Rahane was timing the ball as crisply as one would have seen. He was doing it well, and suddenly the Indian innings was gathering momentum. And if you're looking at the situation of both the teams, it was even Stevens. In fact, South Africa were 156 for 1, I reckon, and India were 156 for 2. But it all started with Shikhar Dhawan and Rahane taking the stand to 112 runs. So this was the only one which was a very good stand which was happening for India. 112 runs were added, and India were being given some hope. And that was the time we saw that Kagiso Rabada, who has been a real find for South Africa, struck by getting Shikhar Dhawan caught me another brilliant catch. Shikhar Dhawan played a shot, and what a catch taken by Hashim Amla. Diving full length, the ball was dipping into the ground. Amla dived full length and pulled up a magnificent catch, and Dhawan was gone. Caught Amla, bowled Rabada for 59 balls with 8 fours. But the good thing for India was that Shikhar Dhawan has definitely walked into some form here just before the test matches. And then Ajinkya Rahane kept on scoring. He started hitting sixes of the bowlers, and he was looking in fine nick. And then for India, the pressure started building. Raina came in, and Raina was clean bowled by Rabada. What a ball from Rabada. Absolutely superb stuff. He aimed a Yorker on the base of the leg stump. Suresh Rana gave himself room and lost his leg stump. That was splendid bowling by Rabada. Hitting the base of the leg stump. He was gone for 12 of 13 balls with 1-4 and 1-6. Dhoni came in. Ajinkya Rahane and Dhoni were there at the crease. India still had some hope. 172, but when Ajinkya Rahane fell, caught by Behardine attempting a lofted stroke of the bowling of Dale Steyn, out for 87 of 58 deliveries with 9 fours and 3 beautiful sixes hit by Ajinkya Rahane. And I have to tell, dear friends, subscribers, one of the strokes that this local boy Ajinkya Rahane played was simply a beauty, and one would have remembered Sachin Tendulkar, because Ajinkya Rahane just pushed the ball, and that was what the great Sachin Tendulkar used to do. And Sachin Tendulkar, one could see him in the stand sitting at his home ground, Mumbai. He was watching the match. Ajinkya Rahane, and I'm sure Tendulkar would have been very proud to see Ajinkya Rahane play that stroke, which was absolutely effortless. It was just an effortless push, and it went into the fence. And Rahane would have really made Sachin Tendulkar happy with that stroke that he played. I thought it was of Dale Steyn that he played that stroke. That was marvelous. So now after that, Dhoni was there, and as we all know, Dhoni can, but Dhoni also was struggling. He was not able to get the runs quickly, and finally we saw the wicket started tumbling pretty quickly. Akshar Patel was claimed by Steyn for 5. Harbhajan Singh was out for a duck to the bowling of Steyn. Bhuvneshwar Kumar was out for 1 to Imran Tahir. Amit Mishra was LBW bowled Rabada for 4. Dhoni, well, he was the 9th wicket to go. Dhoni was clean bowled by Googly, which was bowled by Imran Tahir. Dhoni tried to attack Imran Tahir, lost his stumps. He was gone for 27 of 29 balls with 3 fours. The Indian innings ended. Mohit Sharma was not out or not. India bowled out for 224. South Africa winning by a massive margin of 214 runs, and also their first ever bilateral ODI series win in India, winning the series 3-2, and they truly deserve to win the series. And the man of the match went to Quinton de Kock. A.B. de Villiers, the captain of South Africa, taking the man of the series. The bowling for the South Africans: Dale Steyn, 7 overs, no maiden, 3 for 38. The Kagiso Rabada was simply superb. 7 overs, no maiden, 4 for 41. He was really working up some very good pace at a consistent level. Kyle Abbott, 7 overs, 1 for 39. Behari in 8 overs, cost him 55. Imran Tahir, 7 overs, 1 maiden, 50 runs and 2 wickets. Thus the India-South Africa one-day series ended, and it was all over. The one-day series ended, so South Africa beat India in the T20 series, South Africa have beaten India in the ODI series now, and now the test matches are coming up. It's a long drawn test series, 5-test series which is going to be played between India and South Africa. It's the first time that's going to happen as far as India-South Africa cricket is concerned in India, and I think definitely South Africa's morale would be high. But well, we are going to get into a different cup of tea now when the test matches start. But South Africa would be very, very happy that so far they have done a great job coming to India. Well, dear fans and subscribers, I have nothing else to dwell on this on a Sunday. Hope you all like my cricket broadcast. I'll be there with them. Definitely I'll be there tomorrow, as we all know that two test matches are going to be covered. One is Sri Lanka versus West Indies, which the final day West Indies requiring 224 runs to actually win the match, and at the other end we have England chasing 491. They require still 361 runs with 7 wickets in hand. Joe Root is their sole hope right now, and that is also something which is going to be interesting, and I'll be there to talk on both these matches tomorrow. Till such time I see you, dear fans and subscribers. This is your host Ram saying goodbye. Thank you.